I've generated over six figures from online business in my early 20s, and this is my biggest goal yet, 2.5 million. And this isn't theory. I'm going to show you the exact steps that I'm going to take to try to build and grow this business to make it work. All right, now number one, we're going to start with a problem that I've solved. There's definitely a lot, right? I've done other things in business. I had a YouTube channel, another YouTube channel, 50 million plus views, generated six figures from it. But then one of the other problems that I also solved as well, that took me a long time to get over, was it was really the no fap type of niche, right? In that type of area, just helping men, who struggle with lust, right? Let's just say that was one of the things that I felt like I really got a good grip over. And I was like, man, how can I package what I know, right? What's the best thing that I can do? How can I take some of this information that I've learned and distribute it, right? But first, I got to think of a problem I've solved. And of course, everyone has a problem that they've solved in their life, right? Everyone. You just have to think about it. And for me, really, where I was thinking about this one, and even right now is my current plan, I'm like, man, is this actually going to work? Because of course it's a sensitive topic, right? It's going through my head. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, is this really the best route that I should take? It is one of those things where, right, so it's kind of sensitive. Some people definitely would not talk about it, but what it made me think of was, okay, if certain people are not going to talk about this, what does that provide in the market? There's a gap in the market where certain people are not going to dive into this niche because how sensitive it is. And literally, I was brainstorming this yesterday, just talking to ChatGPT, learning from other online mentors like Sam Ovens, all these type of people. And one thing that you always want is you want there to be a degree so that other people can't just jump into the same business that you've done. There's literally, they call it a moat, where people can't just follow the same exact thing that you were doing. And what that made me think of too was like, okay, this is something people are not willing to talk about. This may be a good avenue to jump into. So I'm like, boom, all right, I have the niche that I'm going to go into. How am I going to package what I know? Now, a while ago, right, I've been on the school platform, SKOOL, all these different platforms trying to figure out what's the best route for me. And what I actually learned and did was I created a course. So this is a course breaking down exactly what I learned over years and years, right? Because for a lot of men, these type of bad habits start pretty early. Let's be honest, right? So I'm like, all right, how can I package what I know? And I spent weeks, probably months. I would say definitely in the months range, just figuring out how I should package this solution. Typing, working with ChatGPT, but also just doing a ton of speaking to it, building out slides, and I built out a product, right? I built out a product to sell. I'm like, okay, this is a product. It took me super long to do, and it was crazy. It's not perfect, but it has the information that I've learned over years and years, and I really do feel like an expert, right? So I'm like, okay, I have this product, right? How am I going to drive traffic? How am I going to sell? What price am I going to sell it? All these different things. And really what I got to was, okay, I have this product. I eventually, and this is all very recent, so I'm giving you basically live updates. I landed on lower ticket with the option of high ticket coaching. So basically what I'm doing right now is I have this product, I'm going to sell it, right? And then people, if they want to have additional help, they can hire me as a coach. And I'm like, okay, what this allows me to do is, especially for a niche that is a bit taboo, right? And not everyone wants to just talk about it. They have the guide where, basically they can help themselves and learn from it. But then they also have the option to work with me one-on-one if they would like, for a higher price. And that way I can kind of control the business, how I'm working on it. And it allows me to basically gain low ticket, right? So the benefits of low ticket with the addition of high ticket prices, which I'm like, man, this sounds like a great thing to do. So basically what I did was I decided to take this, host it on the SKOOL platform, right? So it's a place where I can pretty much price it, and that's going to be the low ticket, and then I have the high ticket. Now, in terms of pricing, right, I'm keeping it on the lower ticket side. I'm not going to necessarily mention it, but I'm like, all right, I have something I'm selling. I have coaching as well. Now, how can I actually get traffic? Because Alex Hermosi, another dude that has made a ton of money online, he's also talked about the number one thing you have to have with this is traffic. So I'm like, all right, how can I have traffic? Now, I do have another channel where that's specifically what I focus on, helping men in that area. And that's one thing where I'm like, okay, this is something that I need to get a lot of traffic in so that I can actually know how it converts. Because you need traffic to be able to convert a product. Like you have to have traffic, right? That's like the number one problem. So what I started learning, and I learned from Luke Belmar, another online, guru type of guy, was distribution is one of the most important things you can do. And I started to learn, I'm like, all right, if distribution is one of the most important things you can do for a message and for content, how could I create content and be able to distribute it to multiple different platforms? And I was even working on this today. I'm like, okay, I have all of this content. Let me distribute it. So eventually I'm working on a system where I can automate all of it. But basically the idea is that I have, this content that's on YouTube. What I'm going to do is obviously get short form videos from that longer form content. So number one, we're posting on YouTube. Then get clips from that video, post it to different social media platforms, and then also like Twitter as well. So what I'm doing with that is going on Twitter, taking the transcript from YouTube, converting that into tweets, and then also posting those shorter form videos on my Twitter, and even eventually probably posting the longer form video on Twitter, since you can do that, and even promoting my YouTube videos on Twitter. Now I'm like, man, this distribution system to me could make a lot of money, right? Because I'm like, if you're able to put clips a lot of different places and it can actually have an ROI, then it makes sense, right? So that's how I'm building the traffic, right? I picked the platform, so it's really YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, just because those have the highest buying power. I didn't really want to go for anything like TikTok, because to me it's like, what's the point if they can't purchase the product, right? So I'm like, all right, then I do that. So now it's really automating some of the content and driving traffic, and I actually got some decent results. I did get my first sale the other day, which is great because it kind of put me over that hurdle of, okay, this is possible. And now it's really about scaling the system. So I know how I want to break up the content, but now it's just how can I scale the system, get better at posting YouTube videos, which of course is just going to basically go into all my other types of content. And then, right, so we talked about 2.5 mil. Let's even rewind. Why is it 2.5 mil? So 2.5 mil, you can have that invested in safe investments where you can pull out about 4% and your investments still increase. And 4% would get you $100,000, which in today's age, that can do pretty well. If you have 100K, that's going to do pretty well. And I decided, in terms of a goal, that would be great to just live off that 4% and just have my money working for me. So that's really the retirement plan in this case. And really what I'm trying to do with this niche is build a cult following. So one thing that I've noticed is that when you talk about certain things that people are unwilling to talk about, people respect you more for it. And that's kind of my big idea with this. I want to build something that I can transfer to different places. And for example, you see what I'm doing here right now. This is documenting all of the steps that I'm actually working on. And it's being able to take what I'm learning and also teach you guys, and then boom, just go to the wall to where I'm building a system that I can step away from, right? I'm taking the money, investing it, and that's pretty much the plan, right? So it's make a high income and then invest the money. And we're trying to hit the 2.5 mil mark. Now, is it going to be an easy journey? Absolutely not. But I've already developed a decent amount of skills that personally I think would allow me just to be able to do some of those things a little bit better, right? To be able to make content. I can speak to a camera pretty well. Distributing content, being able to learn quickly are some of the things that I'm good at, right? And of course, just my niche and the problem that I've solved that's something that it took me a while to find the answer. So really all of these things kind of combined to hitting that number mark. And only time will tell when I hit that number. But hopefully, you subscribe and you tap in so you can follow the journey of just a man in his early 20s, has some ambitious goals. And if you enjoy these type of videos, man, click this video on the screen here.